Yeah. So anyway, happy to have that update out. There was a big, big ordeal. I think the next thing we're looking at right now is one of the things in that update was that we moved from a free plan offering and a paid plan to all paid plans now. And there's no more free plan. And we have implemented a paid trial with a credit card. And so that's been um, a big change for us. I think the reasoning for that was because we're a bootstrap, non-funded company in any way. All the research I did about that in terms of free trials was pretty much that the only folks that I see doing it and kind of proponents for it are bootstrapped companies. And so I've read there was a great case study that I'll try to put in the show notes, blog post from a bootstrap SaaS that seems to be doing pretty well. But um, he made the case that everyone in the industry told him, get rid of the credit card. It annoys people. You'll see much higher conversion rates if you get rid of your required credit card trial and just do a free trial. And so they implemented this. It seemed like the right thing to do. They did it. And they did get like 5 times the number of signups, but in terms of their conversions to paid customers, it was their lowest month since the beginning of their business in terms of revenue, in terms of new signups. And so they went back another month later to going back to the credit card upfront thing and had their largest revenue the next month. And they were, so they were like, we tried it. We did the experiment. It didn't work for us. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, obviously every company's different, but I do feel like, if we're really going to extend our runway and widen our runway, we need more funds to be able to do that. So my attitude is like, hey, if you want to support a small SaaS, join up. But we're not necessarily like a big funded player where we have, infinite resources to just be able to give out free accounts to everybody. So anyway, those are some of the big changes, and so far so good. I mean, I'm noticing that, interestingly enough, the people who are actually signing up for the trial, seems like more of them are actually converting to paid accounts than before, because now there's actually a little bit more skin in the game when they put their credit card in. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm hopeful.
Nice. What are your goals for being able to fully fund the development of Owlish?
Yeah, I mean, I think my goal is to go complete bootstrap if I can.
What I mean
Yeah.
is, at what point do you wish that it could be self-sustaining?
Oh, okay. So
Is that a better way
time-wise
of
and stuff.
asking? Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as possible, actually, because it's like before we started this, we had 2 streams of income and we were living a lot more comfortable life. Now that we are spending a lot of one business's income is funding this business, it's required us to kind of strap down in terms of our lifestyle a little bit, and it's not a bad thing. It's fine, but it it would be nice to get out of that quickly. So it's a weird balance, because I think that it's going to look like another year at least before we can sort of like let up. So even if we have a lot more money coming in, I imagine most of that revenue is going to go right back into development for a long time. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not really sure. That's a great question. And my hope is to get to a point where we have enough revenue coming in where we can unloosen the belt a little bit with our family spending, but not do so to the point where we are compromising the growth of the company. And so, that's kind of where we're at.
That's the problem with bootstrapping. It's so hard. Nobody really explains how hard it is to bootstrap, especially software. Software is great because there's this low barrier to entry. You can just build a product and start selling it. But then it takes forever to ramp up those sales, especially if you're bootstrapped, to get to a point where it's sustaining your cost of living. If I was selling, when I was doing freelancing work, I could just, man, it was so much easier to find revenue. It wasn't, make money in your sleep revenue, but still, I could just go out and find some jobs, and then I instantly have revenue, and then didn't really have to think about it at that point. The payoff is better, that's true. But man, if I were to start a business again, I don't think I'm going to do fully bootstrapped again. Ever. I guess technically I'm not fully bootstrapped anymore because I'm a tiny seed company. But if I were to do it again, I think I would probably raise some seed money. And probably, earlier on. And kind of, if you want to go super early, like pre-revenue, there's only one way to do it, and that's pretty much through venture capital.
It's true.
I might build the product myself first, but before getting into like full on, all right, now we're going to start selling this thing, man, it was so much work. I'm finally at a point where I'm not dependent on that, but it was like 2 or 3 years of doing what you're talking about, minimizing our expenditures. And I mean, our income pretty much got cut in half. And I mean, it's surprising how little we got on.
Yeah. In some ways it's a double-edged sword, right? So you see how funded companies, and we've seen this in sort of like this huge bubble we've just maybe come down from, but you see how these funded companies can throw money at problems in a wasteful way, and maybe not even get to their actual goals because of that. So I think there's a good discipline from bootstrapping about how to run a company extremely lean and not waste. So I think that's a positive. And I also think that on the personal side of that, I'm rereading The Millionaire Next Door. If you're familiar with that book, old book, but it's a really kind of timeless classic. And it's just a good reminder of like really rich people. Let's on average, a lot of the rich people that are out there, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it by their car. You wouldn't even know it by their house necessarily. And a lot of them are business owners, and they keep their wealth in their business, or they keep their wealth and stash it in other places that are not their personal income. So a lot of genuinely wealthy people don't pull down much in terms of income into their actual, from their business to their personal. And that's good, because as I was reading that, I was like, okay, well, that's good anyway. We should be living that way. Even as wealth accumulates, as revenue accumulates, how can we do it in such a way that we're growing our assets, but we're not growing our income spending, our spending. We're not getting comfortable with a high income lifestyle. So I think those are, principled and good ways to live. But on the other hand, we had to get rid of our babysitter recently. That was, it wasn't that we had to, but it was like, okay, this will make things go better if we cut that part off. And so now we're, back to taking turns watching the kids and all that stuff. And it makes things a lot slower. And I think that's the one thing I'm realizing is the growth path is going to be slower over this. So I'm just having to get used to, I think there's been I've noticed this recently, I've been stressed out because I'm like, I got to get, from point A to point, B or D as quick as possible. And I have this stress about the timeline. And now I'm realizing, well, if I'm going to be bootstrapped, I have to just be okay with things being slow and just chill out a little bit. And that's kind of my new motto.
Yeah. It's a good motto to have. It is slow though.
Yeah.
I can't say that I'm against bootstrapping now that I've done it, but I don't want to put my family through that again.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's a good point. So, is that something you're still at a point though where you could continue to raise, I suppose? I mean, I don't know about the market right now, but at some point you could raise for where you are now with the company you're at.
Something I could if I want. One of the question is, can I sell the unicorn dream on this business? So that's one thing to consider. The other one is, do I want that for Civic Review? I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily do. So I'm not really saying at this point that I want to go raise venture capital money, but because right now, looking in retrospect, I'm just thinking those tougher, like that grind is behind me now.
Mhm.
And now it's the business is becoming a little bit more fun.
Right.
But sometimes during that grind, like there are periods when it's just not fun because, I couldn't work on it full time. I couldn't grow it fast enough. Like all these things that just more money early on would take all of those pains away.
Yeah,
So.
I hear you. Well, yeah, you're right, and that's something to think about. It's good to be open. I kind of go back and forth about that. Thankfully, now my partner was saying to me, "We should have just raised money when everyone was giving out money like candy," and now that's over. And so I guess there's less temptation now. I'm just like, all right, well, let's just get to work. But maybe the next time things start to go up, maybe it's something to consider.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, cool.
So, cool. So you got, what are your plans besides the quiz feature? Any other plans you have for your business?
Yeah. I think there's just little things overall. I think we just need to make we are kind of wrapping up our integration with the Duda app that we're building for the Duda App Store, which again is a website platform builder. And so we're in contact with them. So I think we probably have another couple of weeks on that to kind of figure things out. We have to really restructure some of our database and things like that to make it work for that integration. But once that's built and working, we'll see how that goes. It'll be kind of its own launch. They're going to be launching it to their list and all that stuff. So it'll be probably a couple months of just a lot of stress and pressure on that side. But once that's all done, I think the next step we're going to focus on is Wix. We were just given approval recently to build an app for that. But because we've already built the Duda one, it should be, more of a kind of replicate what we've done already. So that should be a little easier. But yeah, so those are going to be the next couple things. So maybe next time I will have had most of that ready to go and submitted to their app store. What about yourself? What's going to go on for you guys next?
We've just got conferences. We are sponsoring a number of conferences, like I said. So we've still got that going on for the next 2 months.
That's
nothing but conferences.
That's what you're doing.
Trying to think of some swag ideas to hand out. We have these water bottles that are these vacuum sealed, kind of like this one if you're looking at the video. And people love them. And the ones that we've had, they're just really high quality. They cost like $24 per water bottle.
Nice.
So they're not cheap, and we don't just hand them out like candy at the conference, but we usually kind of mask it behind some little games, make people interact with us, and then we're like, if you can make the shot on our basketball hoop here, then we'll give you this water bottle. So we've typically, historically, under our bootstrapped funds, handed out like 3 water bottles per conference. So not a lot.
So it's like a kind of a prize that you're giving away.
Yeah, like a prize. I run into people now who are like, I love your water bottle. I still use it every day. It's like such a good swag product.
That's
it's
awesome.
Just so expensive. And I wish I want to come up with something that they'll use every day that is less expensive.
What else do you have besides that? I mean, you must have little knickknacks and stuff, I guess.
We don't. Yeah.
Oh, is that all? Okay.
Done that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done raffle prizes with like maybe a drone, like a $50 drone or something. But pens, like lanyards,
haven't done
thumb drives. That's not really a thing anymore. Who gives away thumb drives?
Yeah.
They have the adapters though. So I see these like SD card, like USB adapters. I see those sometimes. I don't have any of that stuff. I've historically thought, I'm just giving away stuff to people who don't really care about the company. And after having attended a few conferences, I'm starting to think, people will come just to look at what I have at the table. And that's when I can at least let them know what we do,
Yeah, right. Exactly. Just a conversation starter. Yeah. I mean, the pens are I feel like the same thing. The pens are kind of worthless. If it's a cool sticker, I have to say I'm a fan of, there's a brand who's kind of similar to Starbucks called Dutch Brothers. So there's a coffee company, but they do non-coffee stuff too. And they do such a great job in terms of making customers feel connected with that brand. And one of the things they do is they give away beautiful stickers that are really beautifully designed, the multicolors, rainbow, all this cool stuff. And they have their own, their symbols like a windmill, like a Dutch windmill. And so they'll have different designs with that. And it's really cool. And then people love putting those on their laptops. Like I even have one on my laptop because it's like, well, it's on the laptop casing. It's not on the actual metal. But it could be interesting to think about stuff like that. Like would it be worth it to design a really spectacular sticker or something like that for a laptop, or something that is something that they just like the design and look of anyway, and the logo happens to be on it? I don't know.
Yeah, stickers are cheap.
Yeah, give it away.
Our brand, we have some characters. I don't know if that would be a little too quirky though, but we have characters on our website that I had an animator create for me. So they're kind of like,
yeah, that could be good.
Yeah, we have 4 of them. We have this guy who's a knight, because our logo sort of has like I don't know what they're called, like castle, those squares on the top of castle walls, kind of goes along the top, and our logo has a little shield on it.
Nice.
So we have a knight character that we use like on our homepage, and then we have some others, like we have a guy who's just kind of like a peasant with a sack over his shoulder, and he's been used in some material as a business owner. And we have another character who was a baker who needed a food permit, that we've used for stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I wonder if you could even get him. I wonder if there's any company doing like cheap 3D printings of stuff like that. If you made him 3D or something, that's probably out of the range. But I mean, it'd be cool if like it'd be cute enough where like people would take it and be like, oh, I'm gonna put this on my desk, and it's like a little civvy.
Oh, I had never thought of that. That's a cool idea. I wonder how much that is.
You can look at something like that. Who knows though? Maybe you can get him in bulk.
Yeah.
Something like, or decorative, maybe, something that I would think it's like, if it was cool enough for someone to want to keep on their office and their cubicle because it's just interesting looking or something, then they're going to keep it there. And it's like, oh yeah, that company. Now, who knows? Does that really lead to a conversion? That's the question with all this stuff. Or is it just, but I mean, if you're going to go there and you have a nice conversation with them, and then they get something that they like, maybe that all works.
And then they just remember us, Because if not today, one day they're going to think, man, I hate this job. I wish there was better software than what I'm using right now.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, that's what branding's all about.
Yeah, that's true. Well, cool. Look forward to hearing how that goes and what you decide. Maybe you can show us the gear next time in the video. See what you got.
Cool.
Whatever that is.
All right, Kevin. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah. Good chatting, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. You can learn more by visiting DashWithStartups.com. Please rate and review us by going to ratethispodcast.com/DashWithStartups. Until next time, bye.